What do you think will be the three main trends that you'll see play out in the next year in 2026, basically, within your space?
I think the first is more embedding of financial services where businesses spend most of their time operating. So that is bank accounts, expanded access to capital, treasury, accounting, tax services where operators spend every day. And that's because platforms like Square are so rich with data and sit in the flow of funds that it's a natural place to do these to deliver these financial services. And it's a massive simplification for businesses. The second is I work at Block, so I think it has to be new payments like Bitcoin becoming more mainstream. We're making it really simple for small businesses to accept payment through Bitcoin and choose to either keep it as Bitcoin or to convert it to US dollars. And that's a low cost way to be paid. And so as we work to really, really simplify that, we'll start to see how Bitcoin can become everyday money. And the third, yes, is AI. I'm excited to see self-driving money become a real possibility. I see a world where you can ask questions of your money, you can interrogate it, and you can give it marching orders to organize and move itself on your behalf. And I think this is going to be as big for businesses as it will be for consumers.
Going back to your point about crypto, so obviously everyone's talking about it, everyone's dabbling with it, perhaps putting some savings into it. But what's the actual percentage, or kind of in your mind, what are you seeing? How many people are using it to pay for stuff? Like in my mind, I feel it's like 0.01% of the population kind of thing. Is it still worth of your time and your clients' time to think how to accommodate for what essentially could be an edge case almost?
Uh, we have a few thousand sellers at Square who are already accepting payments through Bitcoin and are even accepting payments in US dollars and choosing to convert them on a daily basis into Bitcoin and keep in a wallet. It's a small population because this is really a new feature for us, but we don't agree that it's going to be a marginal play. It's philosophically a block. We have a commitment to make Bitcoin particularly everyday money. And so we believe that the more tools we build for businesses to be able to accept and deal in this money, that quite frankly, the simpler we make it, the faster we accelerate that future.
So you kind of hinted to a few things that you're excited about for next year. Is there any one project that you're working on right now, you and your team, that you think could be a game changer for your users?
Yeah, my team is mostly focused on widening participation in the economy for small businesses. And the number one way that we do that is actually simply putting more capital in business operators' hands. That is an age-old profession, but we have more than a decade of experience here, and we'll be really pushing ahead with our data advantage to help businesses that are among the newest on our platform to really find their stride and run with us quickly. What I'm very excited for is the possibility of providing cash flow insights for business operators that help them see around corners and take advantage of that capital right when they need it. And Square AI and the work that we're doing in this space is going to be big for sellers next year.
So another big trend within AI seems to be around agentic, sort of empowering the tools to do things on our behalf, saving us time. And you kind of mentioned, alluded to it at least when you talked about money being smarter. When do you think people will be comfortable trusting AI or the agentic AIs to do the right thing, given the fact that we also see all the time how AI gets, hallucinations and makes things up or whatever, which is fine if I'm asking for a recipe, but perhaps not so fine if it's about making very financially important decisions for my business.
Right, right. We're in the early days here, but I do believe we will get there. For now, our models are no less infallible than I am or you are. But what is most important, I think, to kind of accelerate that future is designing the right jobs for AI to do for us. In Square AI today, we see most of the use being sellers asking how to find operational efficiency in their business, how to price products better, how to plan for staffing. And it does a really phenomenal job there. we need to be mindful of the sort of state of sophistication of models before we push them into jobs that that require a higher degree of trust. We're just keeping the bar high for now, so that the AI earns the right to work for the seller in just the same way as any of the seller's employees would. And I think that's what merchants expect. They expect to retain a level of control. What's most valuable, I believe, is feeling like you are backed by something smart that multiplies your abilities.
We talk often about the new bank stack, yeah, where technology companies are partnering with traditional financial institutions like banks to deliver new financial services to its users. What are some examples of how you are partnering with traditional institutions to offer new or a broader range of services?
Yeah. I love this question. Our model is about building layered or compounded advantages. We think of it as an innovation stack. So, in the first instance, Square started putting financial tools into the platform so that merchants could, for instance, instantly access their revenue in Square Checking. Or that same revenue could be used to underwrite and to repay a Square loan. That's our first layer. Secondly, we're able to build on top of those financial primitives, banking primitives. So, for instance, if you choose to have your payouts from another platform like DoorDash sent to Square Checking, we will instantly deposit each of those orders into your account through the integration of the two platforms without waiting for a settlement cycle. So we go from simple financial services to more powerful software. And then the third and next frontier, I think, is a financial agent whom you can ask to keep an eye on your money and move it on your behalf. So the helpful software is now actually an autonomous bookkeeper. And this is what I think is enabled by the new bank stack. We get to build progressively smarter compounding advantages on top of each other and solve more problems.
And your role is to be the conduit between, as I understand it, Square and what you want to do, as well as the banks and partnering with them, if that's correct. What are some of the main challenges that you face in that role, and how do you address that? I mean, I imagine, or we perceive banks to be slow moving and traditional, and we believe that Square is fast moving, want to try and do everything. Banks don't like that necessarily. How do you balance the two wills and limitations and expectations, perhaps?
Yeah, that's right. Well, number one, I'm supported by a really large team of financial operations specialists and bank partnership specialists who help us do this job. Number two, I think we select partners with strongly aligned interests who want to help small businesses, who have an interest in, kind of in being at the front line of innovation here. Thirdly, it does help that we have our own bank, our own ILC, Square Financial Services, whose interests are really strongly aligned with mine. We both ultimately exist to widen participation in the economy. But a lot of my role is really about helping bring really age-old business problems to banks through a new lens, through the lens of what an integrated software platform can do, and encourage them to run with us through the regulatory difficulties and all of the really important work of remaining compliant to ship benefit to businesses.
Adam, super interesting insight. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Kristen.